All right, this will probably be a video that is going to trigger more people than any other video that I've ever done. We're going to talk we're going to talk about some people, a battle belt or your go-to belt, and the difference between a go-to belt and a range belt. Okay, and your go-to pistol and a range pistol. What's the difference between the two? Okay. Uh, Different philosophies actually is what's going to happen. At the range, I plan on expending a whole bunch of ammo. I'm just going to be standing there. I'm going to be shooting, doing some walking around. But a go-to belt, I'm going to be required to live in. All right, for long periods of time. We all remember the service, our gear, right? And after you get out of the service, you realize, hey, that gear really wasn't that bad. Okay, so here we go. All right, this is my go-to gear kit. Now, this is not all of it. Let me see here. See if we can get it out here on the table. These are things that I want to keep on me absolutely. Oh, my little pocket pistol. Get that out of the way. At all times. All right. Now, my go-to, I think everybody understands what this is. All right. 1911. I have cut it down to the 9mm for lots of reasons. Okay, one, I'm a family man now, and everybody in my family has to be able to shoot this pistol. So I came up with 9mm, and when you really look at most old timers like me that grew up with the 1911, most of us are going to a 9mm. But that's neither here nor there. That's my go-to pistol. It's accurate, it's reliable, and you have to understand in a go-to situation, I'm not looking to get into a gunfight. I want to avoid it, okay? So, I choose this. Now you've got to have a knife, okay? This is the German Swiss Army knife, bottle opener, that kind of stuff, okay? You choose whatever kind of knives you want. All right. Then I have a specific multi-tool that I carry. I carry this because I'm not only going to be servicing my pistol, but, all the stuff my sons have and our rifles, okay? Tourniquet. Everybody, the tourniquet's got an expiration date. You really only want to keep this thing on your belt for a year, okay? When you buy the tourniquet, you take it apart, all right? They provide a plastic bag. You write the date on it. You set the tourniquet. You put it in here. And for God's sakes, leave it alone. You don't want to pull the tourniquet out of there. Along with the tourniquet, you've got those scissors that'll cut through anything. All right? Now, that's that end of the deal. Now, magazines. Why do I have these type of pouches? Well, it's plain and simple. I don't want anything coming out. It's got to stay in there. All right? And like I said, now, what else I have? I absolutely have the suspenders that goes with this. All right, and the butt pack. We all remember that. And I can put it together I have a bag. I put all this stuff in the bag. All right. Uh, the reason for the soft belt on my go-to belt is comfort. No other reason. I absolutely have worn these things for, weeks on end. Have we all? All right? Now, that's a go-to belt. This is a range belt. Okay? Quite a bit simpler. Okay, I really, really, really love this holster. So much that I have two of them. pretty much a universal holster. It will fit just about all my range guns, okay? Now, that and a simple pocket knife. You never know when you're going to need a pocket knife. I'm a particular fan of the button knives, so I have a knife something like this on on both of my good range belts, okay? And as far as that, I Beretta style. This one here is a Gersant. Love that feature. All right, so I've got 18 rounds here. All right, and it's simple range belt. I've got four more magazines here. Totals out to about 90 rounds that I take up to the firing line. Now, this particular belt's got the Velcro thing, but this does not really go into your belt at all. I guess you could put it to your belt loops, but I absolutely do not. I just Velcro it right here so I can put it on and take it off real easy. The reason for that is it's a lot of weight, and when I do the buckle, right, I can put my belt buckle. This goes right on top of it, helps hold the belt up without having to be outrageously hard, right? Or tight, as you would call it. Then the other one, and like I said, same thing over here, same identical holster. This one I did a black holster. It's the same as that one. I do prefer the paddle holsters because it disperses weight a lot better. Ah! What happened? I don't know. I messed up. Nope, wait. Am I still alive? Still alive. What do you know? Yep, screaming like a little girl. But anyway, it disperses the weight on the hip, you know. And that one there is Mechanic Run and Gun. Same thing. That's, I tell you, you really love that. That one's a Striker Fire. This gun here, I do like it. It's really accurate. The more rounds I put through it, the better that I like it. Would I ever consider this to be a go-to gun? No, absolutely not. Never once would I consider it. I am, on the other hand, thinking that someday this might transition into my go-to gun. Why? Well, it's got the external safety. Very important. All right. There's two rules of thought there, and whatever yours is, it's yours. It's fine. Uh, for the knife, same thing. I'm not sure. I think this one is a Kaiser. But I truly love the button knives. They open up easy. They're just, they're the greatest. That, and on this belt here, I carry, I think it's a 17 or an 18, sorry, 18, yeah, 18 in there. And then the spare mags, I bought the 20s, right? So you're looking at 97 rounds here, I believe, right at 100 rounds. But the beauty of these rigs is any double stack holster, their magazines will fit in here. All right. Bum bum. As will the pistols. At the worst, you just need to use an Allen wrench and, adjust it. So I don't have to have a range belt for every single one of my pistols because, guys, I'm telling you, that would be very expensive. Now, other people have different ideas, and that's fine. Whatever works for you. I tend to like to be a little bit on the thrifty side, right? But you've got to understand your range belt is totally going to be different than a belt you're going to wear, for what? Without rule of law or for, God forbid, the worst in the world happens, okay? So this is basically, and then on top of this, in my pocket, I'll always have a small backup. And there's good reason for that. All right. Somebody can always get up behind you and get your gun. Okay. That's one of the major reasons. Okay. I truly love these button holsters. All right. Is because it's just a little bit more of a safety thing. You can't run up and grab that. Okay. It's not going to happen. Your pistol goes in, locks in, and it stays there. All right. So, but when you're fooling around with this gun, I just reach in my pocket and pull this. And I know, no, everybody's going to scream about, oh, it's only got 2 rounds. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I put those defense rounds in it. But, this is by far, these holsters here are what I use when I go to the range. I had played around with other holsters on there until I came across these. These are great. But I have so many of these button holsters. For every single pistol that I own, I have different button pistols. Now, this particular Canik Meta, all right, the SFX, finding a holster for it is extremely hard. It doesn't really fit in most holsters. I do have a drop leg holster for it, but I'm not really a fan of drop leg holsters. I'm an old guy. And like I said, everybody's going to have their different opinion, okay? There seems to be the gun world is getting kind of split nowadays between, well, you got a group of people, I don't know what you call them, tactical, whatever. They tend to jump around, drop magazines on the ground. They tend to get on websites and argue with you and make opinions, and that's all right, I guess. But most of the time, they're definitely wrong with their opinions, or it's just that it's an opinion. Like, had an argument one time with a fella over the gun light. Okay, and when you start researching the police forces and the military, for instance, the guys that are using the gun light, and you find out how often that gun light was used. Most of the time, it's used for different things besides that, and it's not really so. As far as a tactical advantage, not really. And it's just like the lights. And there's people out there that make money. Make no mistake about it. These tactical guys, a lot of them have real skill. They got jobs doing this. They probably spend $1 million on ammo. But you have to understand it's a niche. People have been killing each other with firearms since the 1600s, all right? What we learned in the 70s and early 80s in the military on how to handle the 1911 and how to fight the 1911, it's just as valid today as jumping around like a kangaroo. All right. I've absolutely heard these guys say, oh, you should think about what you look like. If you wouldn't want your picture taken at that moment, you're probably doing it wrong. Well, that's not true. All right. As long as you got good gun safety down, all right, your choice of belts doesn't matter. You can add more, add less. I don't see any reason to go to the gun range with plate armor and breastplates and whatever. I hear this one guy, I carry 16 magazines. I'm like, good for you. I know how to reload. You don't want to carry all that. But that's up to him. If he's comfortable with that, let him do it. But yeah, I just tend to keep it simple. I mean, this same rig right here, it'll absolutely hold. It'll absolutely hold that gun. It'll hold all of my pistols. And the only reason I have two is because, well, I have sons, okay? They're all big boys. And so it works better if I have a couple of good belts when they go shooting. My one son favors the Taurus PT92, all right, which is, as you know, it's kind of just like this. It's M9 type, right? Uh, and my other son, he likes that TH9 millimeter, right? Something like this, but it's more of a duty pistol look. External hammer, external safety, right? It's not like this. This pistol for me is strictly a range gun and nothing else because it doesn't have the safety. If anybody else is comfortable carrying one of these around with, that's fine. I don't care. But for me, no. Uh, but yeah, when you get to the range, it's got to be comfortable for you. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the stuff I take to the range. Whoa, where are we going here? Let me try to adjust this. Ah, there it is. Nope. All right. And there we go. Yeah, sort of worked out. All right. So anyhow, that's basically my take on going to the range and what I carry with me. I've got huge box of ammo that I always take. I always take 2, 3, sometimes 4 of these, depending on how many people are going with me. I'll usually take a couple thousand rounds of 9mm ammo because, like I said, I've got 3 grown sons, a wife, and a daughter. And when we go to shoot, we all shoot. All right, we belong to a gun club, uh, so it's pretty restricted. You got to have a key to get in there. But yeah, I've seen a lot of videos. That's why I'm making this. I guess people mistake the difference between a go-to or I don't know. They call them battle belts. Okay, I was in the military. I never called it a battle belt, but anyway. So they mistake that for a range belt, okay? And I mean, these guys, they make money at it. It's okay. I mean, they teach safety and that, but really, do you need a plate carrier and all this junk at the range? I'm not carrying all that weight. I'm there to have fun, right? But if that's your idea of fun, more power to you. And I don't ever say anything to anybody that's doing that. But, I've seen guys take a card table up there and set it down next to them and load their magazines, keep everything on the table. But, yeah, as far as the reason for the 1911, I trained on it in the service. When I was a young fella, there was 3 pistols you could have, okay? You could have a revolver, you could have a 1911, and if you was really rich, you could have a high point. Or high power rather, right? The Belgian made thing. Now that was the cat's meow. And it's like, for me, it's like, we grew up, I was poor, right? So we had revolvers. That's what we shot. I mean, 22 revolvers, 38s. Actually, my nightstand gun is still a revolver, 38 special. Just put it there on the nightstand. But everybody's got their own ideas on this stuff. And I feel that the gun community it's strange, okay? You get a lot of people on, especially not the gun forums so much. I stay off of those. But on Facebook and Twitter and all these things like that, you have people on there that really aren't gun people, that pretend to be gun people. And they're young and they will repeat things that they've heard and not quite understood. And they're always talking about gun stuff, but they never post any gun stuff, right? And it seems like what they want to do is argue, okay? And that's okay to a certain extent, but you got to understand the Second Amendment is a fragile thing. I'm going to get into this here just for a second. Let me put my glasses on, see what kind of time. Okay, just a couple minutes. In the long run, you have to understand that the Second Amendment is more than likely going to fail. I know. I just said a lot of people. I just set a lot of people on fire right there. Now, you got to understand the problem with the Second Amendment, the gun people is we're goal driven. You guys are all goal driven. The other side is game driven. There's all these other little stops. Got it? All you want to do is argue about Second Amendment, and that's fine. But they're game driven. They're out to win the game, and we are not. The Second Amendment to them is just one aspect of the game, okay? They are educating your children. They're turning your own children against you, okay? And therein lies your problem. If you want to preserve the Second Amendment, okay, which we all do, we need to start at the grassroots of it. We need to start with the schools. We need to take back the teachers union from, well, you see what they've got and what they're doing in the schools. That's where we need to start, okay? And look, federal government, these corrupt bastards, I don't know what they're doing. ATF has no power to make laws, but they're making laws. Why would that be? Well, because that side owns the court system. They have the judges. And yeah, I know there's all these people on there. You watch them, they'll make all these great causes and all of this. Look at California. Every time they get a victory, you get some judge that no one has heard puts a nationwide, injunction out or a statewide injunction. So even though they've won this case 3 times, it's still going back to court until they get it in front of judges that will support their view. The ATF is the same way. They just change definitions to enforce laws. Like that feller there in Arkansas. Come on, man, he's a city employee. Was there any reason for them to pound down his door at 6 o'clock in the morning and shoot him? I think not. They could have knocked on the door. But anyway, you got to understand it's the whole package here. That's why, and it's like, that's why it irritates me to no end. I don't care what another guy does or another guy posts. If you're comfortable with posting it, if you're comfortable with your range gear, more power to you. I'm never going to tell somebody you're doing something wrong or this gun is better than that gun. But, you got gun channels out there and they absolutely make money on this. This is what they're doing. The latest and the greatest. Like, you would be surprised the people out there that still defend the SIG 320. In the first place, yes, the military chose it, strictly on price. When you look at the trials, 2 guns made it through the first trials, okay? One was the Glock 19, which they'd spiffied up, and the other one was the SIG Sauer. Now, the Glock 19 was exponentially more expensive from the SIG, so they stopped the testing there. This pistol never went through the second round of testing, all right? And it never went through NATO testing either, to my knowledge. So, I mean, do your own research. Look at some smaller channels when you're buying your gear. Don't be afraid to buy something that other people don't use. If you can explain why you bought it, if you have a good reason for it, right? Like, there are people out there that do not like these button holsters, right? They've got these other holsters out there that are way, way more expensive. And if you want to spend that money, go ahead. But in the end, what does it have to do? It has to hold your firearm secure. And I got to tell you, these holsters here, I just recently purchased those because I do have button holsters for every firearm I have. I mean, even the 2 back there. But my problem with those was I would have to change holsters out to put on my belt. So, how about we all get on the same page, I guess is what I'm going to say here. And, but anyhow, I'd be interested. What do you carry for a range belt? All right. And what do you have for a go-to weapon and a go-to belt? Just curiosity, okay? You're comfortable, more power to you. God bless, okay? All right.